Alright, good evening everyone. I know it's late, but we have an update regarding the elderly lady that was struck in Bayside. According to Patch and the Daily News, the 82-year-old woman who was struck on Corporal Kennedy Street a couple days ago has died of her injuries. And again, another example of the local media not covering an important story that happened. And there's another brief story that I'm going to bring up that happened in Auburndale later on in this video. But I want to give you the update of the woman who was struck and killed. Now, the good news is this is not a hit-and-run incident. The driver that did strike the woman did remain on the scene. Because the driver did remain on the scene, the driver will not be facing charges. So that's good news on the driver's end. But again, an awful accident that happened on Corporal Kennedy Street in Bayside. So we did do a separate video about this a couple days ago, but we have an update. And again, thanks to the Bayside Queens Facebook group for keeping everybody posted. Because again, I would have not known about this if it weren't for Facebook. You know, that's how you have to get your news these days. Okay, so sadly, I have to report that the 111 precinct confirmed that the elderly woman, 82 years old, who was struck and killed at Corporal Kennedy Street, has died of her injuries. On 3:20 p.m. last Sunday, May 23rd, the car's driver, a 43-year-old woman who was behind the wheel of an SUV, made a left turn from Corporal Kennedy Street onto 43rd Street and hit 82-year-old Blvd Dazi, who was crossing the street according to the 111 precinct. Now, I will mention the Daily News actually confirmed the vehicle that struck the 82-year-old woman, and we can confirm that this is a Chevy Traverse. Now, this is what the 2021 model would look like. We can pull that up for a second. This is what a 2021 model looks like, and I know this vehicle very well. This is a crossover SUV. It's an all-wheel drive. Very big vehicle, so continuing on here, I'm just going to see if the Daily News had anything else. Yeah, that's pretty much the same details, but Patch goes more in depth. So, Dazi, who lived literally not too far from where this accident happened, she was knocked to the ground and hit her head on the pavement. The 111 precinct confirmed she was taken to Booth Memorial Medical Center in Queens, where she passed away of her injuries on Tuesday, May 25th. The driver, who police said came to a stop at the four-way intersection, failed to comply with state law by not yielding to the pedestrian. So that's why, again, driver's ed should really teach people, you know, bottom line, you need to yield to pedestrians, because every time I cross the Freshman Shopping Plaza, it seems nobody looks for pedestrians. Right by 188th Street. Okay, so continuing on here. According to the 111 precinct, the driver remained at the scene after the accident, and as of Friday, no arrests have been made and the investigation remains ongoing. Dozens of locals who commented on a neighborhood Facebook group about the fatal accident said the drivers in Bayside often run stop signs in the neighborhood and call on New York City to add stoplights and cameras. One person wrote, "This is an intersection with a four-way stop. Aggressive drivers who routinely use an intersection like this will often not come to a full stop or barely slow down at all. This is why the DOT no longer installs four-way stop signs in intersections." Another local wrote they often see people running stop signs and going over the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit in the area. City Council candidate Austin Schafrin, running in the 19th District, wrote that this incident could have been avoided with more thoughtful street and traffic flow planning, and called on New York City to consider replacing stop signs like this one with no traffic lights. Schafrin wrote, "I've seen so many cars roll right through the stop signs on Corporal Kennedy, either racing to Northern Boulevard or making a left to get to Bell Boulevard while avoiding the traffic and, of course, traffic signals, and waiting for the red lights." Echoing others on the thread, "This wasn't the first incident, and it won't be the last if something isn't done to address this problem." Other neighbors shared experiences they've had with aggressive drivers in the neighborhood. One person wrote, "My son was just telling me how he almost got hit. He actually felt the swoosh." Another said that last weekend, the weekend of May 15th and 16th, the day before the fatal accident, the car in front of this person was honking at an older gentleman. Oh, so this was on May 22nd. Okay, my apologies. An older gentleman crossing Bell Boulevard with a cane and doing his best to walk quickly, which alarmed them about the state of drivers in the neighborhood. I could just envision if that was their father. And then the article says, the crash in Bayside comes shortly after 2021 was deemed the second deadliest traffic year under Mayor Blasio, especially for pedestrians who compromised 43 of the 70 traffic deaths from January 1st to April 30th of this year, according to city data highlighted by Transportation Alternatives. So there you go. Once again, the media ignoring us in Northeast Queens. Again, I'll give Patch credit. They did a terrific job covering this since the story broke. But, you know, you would think the lamestream outlets would cover this, but they just ignore us here. You know, if somebody got struck by a car while trying to cross the Walgreens parking lot right by my house, that wouldn't get covered either. So, another thing before we move on is another story I want to bring up. I'm trying to keep this video under 20 minutes, but we have another story that should have been covered by the media. This should have at least gotten a 30-second mention by Channel 2 at least, but nothing from them or nothing from any other channel. So we have a 17-year-old woman who was last seen in Auburndale back on Wednesday, April 21st. Authorities are looking for a 17-year-old Madorny Kenny, who again was last seen on... Wait a minute. This is the same person who wrote the Corporal Kennedy story. You know, you gotta proofread. The same thing happens at the Queens Courier. Alright, so here we go. Medora Kenny was last seen on Thursday, May 27th at 2 p.m. at her home at 47-08 196th Street. This was first reported by the 111 precinct. Kenny was still missing as of May 28th. The last description of the missing 17-year-old woman, she was described as about 5 feet 1 inch tall and weighing 125 pounds. With hazel eyes and black hair with blonde highlights. She wears glasses and was last seen wearing a camouflage pants, a black t-shirt, and an elephant necklace. Anyone with information can call the Crime Stoppers tip line at 1-800-577-TIPS, 8477, in Espanol, 888-577-74782 pista, or submit a tip online or on Twitter. Online at nypdcrimestoppers.com. Also, you can call the 111 precinct because, again, this woman was last seen in the confines. The phone number is 718-279-5200. Again, it's 718-279-5200. So, hopefully this girl can be found because, again, this should have gotten media coverage. But I'll tell you that something that did get media coverage, and I'm glad that this did get coverage a couple days ago. If you didn't hear, there was a hit and run on McGuiness Boulevard in Brooklyn, Greenpoint section. So just want to see if we can pull it up. I really do not want to read from anything else here. Okay, looks like I'm not going to find anything. Hopefully I find something. Yeah, here we go. This is it. This was reported by AM New York, and I was going to save this for the crime news, but since we're on the subject of pedestrians getting fatally struck by vehicles lately, I might as well talk about this. So here we go. Police in Brooklyn are searching for the driver of a Rolls Royce. Excuse me for a second. Of a Rolls Royce who fatally ran down a pedestrian in a hit and run on May 18th. Law enforcement sources said the incident happened at 12:45 in the morning at the corner of McGuiness Boulevard and Bayard Street in Greenpoint. By the way, I just want to mention this is a very dangerous street. Okay, you have an island that's supposed to separate both corridors of the street. It's literally not too far from where the Pkwy is, not far from where the Kosciuszko is. So I literally know this area very well. Not too far from Greenpoint Avenue. Based on a preliminary investigation, police learned that the victim, a 58-year-old man, attempted to cross McGuiness Boulevard walking eastbound in the crosswalk, but against the traffic signal. So this might have been a fault with the pedestrian because, bottom line, in New York City, you have to watch your back out. As the pedestrian did so, the 58-year-old victim was struck by a black Rolls-Royce sedan while it was traveling southbound on McGuiness Boulevard. Despite hitting the man, authorities said the luxury car's driver did not stop the vehicle, was fled from the scene. Officers from the 94th Precinct and EMS units got a 911 call about the incident, found the victim on the roadway with severe trauma to his body. Paramedics rushed the victim to Woodhill Hospital, where he died a short time later. Police have withheld the man's identity pending family notification. So far, no arrests have been made, which is being handled by the NYPD Highway Patrol's Collision Investigation Squad. So, this got a lot of attention, and as you might have heard a couple days ago, Mayor de Blasio is actually getting involved. And I'm actually glad he's doing something, because again, I know this area very well. As you can see in this picture, this is a very big street to cross. Like, if you try to cross the street, and there's the island, that's what I was talking about. Because this is not too far from where Greenpoint Avenue is. So, for once I actually amend Bill de Blasio for actually doing something about pedestrian fatalities, because the last thing you need is for something unrelated to happen again in that area of Greenpoint. So, oh, and then look at this, another story that just came out. I was just about to wrap up the video. I'm going to read this. This is just coming in. Man fatally struck while attempting to cross the Bronx River Parkway. So, folks, this is becoming another dangerous trend. It's bad enough the crime is going up. Now you're hearing all these stories about fatal pedestrian incidents involving automobiles. So, this transit group mentioned by Patch, they're correct. I mean, this is just very alarming. Cops in the Bronx are investigating a deadly collision on the Bronx River Parkway on May 30th. Police said the victim attempted to walk across the parkway southbound lanes near the Westchester Avenue exit, where a driver struck him at 3:50 a.m. According to law enforcement sources, the driver, a 25-year-old man, hit the victim with his 2019 Nissan sedan as the pedestrian attempted to cross the southbound lanes from west to east. Pedestrians are not permitted to travel on the Bronx River Parkway, which is correct. It is not clear at this point in the investigation why the victim was on the roadway. Yeah, why was the person on the roadway? Because I know the stretch of the Bronx River Parkway very well. Me and my folks have gone on it numerous times. See, that's the island right there. It's not too far from where... Yeah, this is literally the Bruckner Boulevard exit. I can tell by the sign. After hitting the victim, authorities said the Nissan driver stopped his vehicle and remained on the scene. So at least the good news is this is not a hit and run. Officers from the 43rd Precinct, the Highway Patrol, and EMS units got a 911 call about the incident. Police found the unidentified male on the roadway with severe body trauma. Responding paramedics pronounced the victim dead at the scene. Police are withholding his identity pending family notification. Because the driver remained on the scene, no charges have been filed against the Nissan driver. The case is being further examined by the Collision Investigation Squad. So there you go. Once again, I just don't know how this is happening. Let alone this year. So many incidents with pedestrians getting struck by vehicles. This year alone. It's just getting very scary. I'm just really scared now that if I have to walk anywhere I need to go, even when I go back to work in July, let's say I'm crossing Francis Lewis by 39th Avenue, I'm really going to have to watch my back now. Because I literally am scared when a car has to make the left turn on 39th Avenue. Well, I don't want to be a statistic. I really don't. Alright? So, trust me, I'm going to get Vicky Palladino involved with that area in Bayside. The one on Corporal Kennedy and the one on Francis Lewis and 39th. Because I am going to be doing that in person. And I will announce that hopefully if Vicky does win her primary later in June, I am going to address this with her in person. Because Bayside has issues that need to be addressed. It's my old neighborhood. I'm technically from Auburndale. And, I work in Auburndale. And, I just don't want to see more of these incidents. Not just in Bayside and not just what happened in Greenpoint and even in the Bronx. But something has got to be done about this. And again, I never give appreciation to Mayor de Blasio, but for once, I'm glad he's finally being vocal about something. And that McGuiness Boulevard incident, they got to do something about that in Brooklyn. So I said 15 minutes, so I'm a little bit over that. So with that, thank you all for watching. We are going to have a proper crime-fired video on Tuesday, June 1st. So stay tuned for that. But I had to do this video because, I'm just alarmed that the media is not covering all these disturbing incidents, except the one in Greenpoint, which, again, I'll give Channel 2 credit. They did a terrific job covering that. And again, you want to see the mayor talking about it, I'll link their video in the description below, or I'll have a card up so you can see it. It was on their YouTube page. So thank you all for watching, and until the next one, please take care.